Hello world, I hope everyone and everything is well. Today I'd like to be discussing mushrooms. However, not just any mushrooms. I'm talking about Alice, caps, shroomies, or more formally known as psilocybin mushrooms or magic mushrooms. I will be talking about the recent clinical research, the medicinal uses and benefits, and of course the current legality in the US, but more importantly the state of California. Firstly, I like to talk about psilocybin. And psilocybin is a classic hallucinogen, and it's a chemical that's found in over 100 species of mushrooms worldwide. And for centuries, human beings have actually consumed these mushrooms for different medicinal purposes and spiritual practices. Why? Because of the profound and euphoric experience that one undergoes shortly after consumption of the mushrooms. And there are two practical forms of consumption, that is orally and digested, or boiling them down to a certain degree in order to form psilocybin tea. Now, according to an article by cmsw.mit.edu published in 2015, recreational usage in the Western world didn't begin until the late 1950s, and shortly after, along with the hippie movement, which of course at that time those certain individuals were heavily using and influenced by psychedelics. And at that time their character may have seemed questionable just because they wanted to express this unconditional love and try to create more than just a community, but a true sense of unification between human beings, despite the segregations of social class, status, color, even. However, in 1971, the US outlawed the possession of psilocybin, and research into the compound didn't begin until relatively recently. Now, since then, psilocybin has been classified as a Schedule I substance, meaning that it has no accepted medical uses, and possession of mushrooms is considered a criminal offense. However, I'd like to state that in the past several decades, there could have been federal funded research going into the possible long-term effects and benefits of consuming psilocybin and other psychedelic agents. It's simply a missed opportunity into the untapped potential of the totality that these magnificent fungi have to offer to human beings in general, because of the great treatments that it could have on certain mental disorders and even correcting other substance abuses. Now, according to an article by ncbi.gov published in March 23, 2018, in 1992, the National Institute on Drug Abuse worked with an FDA advisory committee to resume the clinical research of psychedelic agents. Here is one of their studies. 12 patients with generalized anxiety disorder or anxiety disorders induced by cancer were randomly selected to receive psilocybin and niacin capsules. However, prior to implementing the capsules, they underwent psychotherapy for a month, and the capsules were gradually implemented and taken by the patients. Now, the patients who had took the psilocybin capsules found that even months after treatment, their anxiety was significantly decreased. 2 weeks after the treatment, their overall mood had been improved. Now, all these factors into the claim that the mushrooms do, or the psilocybin more specifically, does alter a person's brain structure. Why? Because when it's induced, it's creating new neurological pathways. And many users have reported coming to life-changing revelations, and hence why shrooms are referred to as an entheogen, or spiritually enhancing substance. Now, according to an article on the Hub of Johns Hopkins University published in November 30th, 2016, in a small double-blind study involving 51 adult patients taking full doses of psilocybin, 80% of participants showed clinically significant decreases in their depression and anxiety, while 60% showing complete symptom remission. Overall, 83% reported an increase in well-being and overall satisfaction with their life, leading to a conclusion that traditional psychotherapy and antidepressants aren't fully or nearly as effective to treat certain mental disorders as psychedelics would substitute. Now, lastly, an article by the New York Times published on October 3rd, 2018, restated the research by the Johns Hopkins University team and also recommended that psilocybin be reclassified for medical use in order to combat depression and anxiety. Now, despite trials and more clinical research being required by the FDA, in conclusion, I'd like to say and believe that if not in this current ballot, that possibly in the near future, that I hope you as well will vote for the legalization of mushrooms in the state of California, because I do believe that it will lead us into a new direction, a better one, more importantly for bettering mental health of human beings. Thank you.